What's up, family? My name is ElijahAmmi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a grown folk channel. This is where we have heart-to-heart conversations and keep it real. Here on this channel, everybody matters. Everybody's family. Here on this channel, we express love because at our core, we are love. I love you guys, and thank you for being with me on this beautiful journey called life. Peace. What's up, family? Man, have Shana back with us today.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about a movie that's really had a significant impact on me. I tried watching this movie in the past like several times, and every time I watched it, it was at the end of the day, I was tired, and I would fall asleep on this movie. And about a week ago, Shannon brought it up to me, and it's like, okay, I got to go watch this movie. And I watched this movie, and I was like just blown away at it. And in fact, I had to go watch it again because it's like, wait, this movie was way too deep. I know I missed some stuff. And so I went back in, and there's some things that I missed the first time. And it's like, I couldn't believe that they actually made this movie. And the movie is called Soul. Pixar made it. It's a movie called Soul. Shana.
Yes.
Talk to us. What's going on? What do you think about the movie?
So I did a little research, and the same thing happened to me. I watched it one time and I was like, what is this? It just didn't resonate deeply with me. And for whatever reason, I kept on coming across it. I kept seeing it, seeing advertisements for it, and something kept drawing me back to it. And so I forced myself to watch it. And I saw a review that these two therapists did on the movie, and they broke it down in a way that gave it new light. And so I went back and watched it again. And it spoke to me in ways that when Oprah says she has an aha moment, it spoke to me in ways that have profoundly affected and changed my life and my approach towards life and the things that I aspire to, the things that I spend my time on. This gentleman, an average Joe, and I think they named him Joe on purpose. It's actually based on a teacher named Dr. Peter Archer in Brooklyn, New York. He was a band teacher and also a musician. And so Disney and Pixar wanted to make sure that they had authenticity in the movie. And it took an average Joe. And in the beginning of the movie, he says, if I get to play with this certain musician, Dorothea Williams, I think her name is, I will die a happy man. And I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but certain things happen in succession that it ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you see his life unfold in ways, and the way that he perceived his life, that his life was absolutely meaningless because he wasn't able to see the gratitude in everything that he was doing. He has this ideal of who he should be, this famous jazz musician, but he doesn't realize that he's affecting change every single day. And he is that famous jazz musician. When that person thinks of their success, when someone's performing, that person that dropped that seed, that planted that seed in them, that teacher, that mentor that saw something in them, they always go back and say, oh, I remember my teacher so-and-so that saw something in me. That's who the average Joe is. That is where you find your purpose, the things that are your God-given talent that no one has given to you and no one can take away. And so the movie Soul, if you have an opportunity, and it got like a 8.5 rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so that says a lot, but it just hasn't had the legs that it has to really be considered a classic, and it's an absolute classic. It's an absolute must-see if you are grieving, if you're dealing with loss, if you're dealing with a loved one in transition, a sick loved one. I have someone close to me that's ill. And so it just puts things in perspective, and it gives you hope that if you're a chef and you say, man, I really wish I was a therapist. I didn't go to school to be a therapist, and I really wanted to be a therapist. When you cook with that love, when you encourage that person, when you give of yourself in that way, you are that therapist. Your life's purpose is not necessarily this grand ideal, right? There are things that are inherent to you that you're able to give back to the world and affect change. That is what your life purpose is. And if you're spending, and I want us to be patient with ourselves and finding our purpose, because if you're always, there's a quote, the unexamined life is not worth living. But if you're always examining your life, then you're not living it, right? So you have to allow yourself to stop and smell the roses. That's a part of your purpose. Being here in the moment, experiencing, feeling, and knowing that what you're doing, who you are, is affecting change in someone's life. That's the basic gist of the movie Soul.
You know,
Sorry, I just got just like started.
you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Hey, so there's a couple of scenes in the movie. There's a lot of scenes, and we're gonna delve into that. But there's a couple of scenes in the beginning of the movie where this guy that went to school was in his class, was in Joe's class, and he calls him up and tells him, "Hey, you know," and he calls him by his name, calls him Mr. So and so, and the guy Joe is like, "Man, you don't have to call me that anymore. You know, just you're no longer in school. Just call me Joe." You know, and the kid has so much respect for him, even though this kid is still grown. This kid is grown now. He's grown man. He's still calling his teacher by his
Mr. Gardner.
Mr. Gardner. You know, with showing respect to this guy. And he goes on the day like, "Man, the only reason why I went to school was because of your class." You know, this kid didn't want to be in school, didn't want nothing to do with school. But the only reason why he went to school was because of this teacher. And then it's just to where this young lady's ready to give up. She's playing the trombone or something, trumpet, I believe. And she's ready to quit band, you know, and it's stupid to her. And because she's passionate about it, but nobody else gets it. And he's listening to her and he's like telling her, "Man, you're great." And we'll be group. And she's so inspired and so in awe, you know, that this guy sat there and just listened to her and inspired her, you know. And so often we as humans, we want to find our purpose. You know, since the beginning of time, man has always, and I talk a lot about this, man, I've always asked those same three questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? You know? And it's like, no matter who you are, no matter what country you're in, no matter what ethnicity you are, we all have the same questions. Man, why am I here? It has to be more than just this, you know? And Joe, man, he's passionate about music, but he's stuck in his mind. He's stuck in a job that he can't stand. He's stuck doing something that he doesn't want to do. You know, he's passionate about music, and his mom doesn't want him to pursue his music. His mom doesn't want him to do that. She wants him to be comfortable. She wants him to get a job. She wants him to be safe and secure, financially secure. And so many of us, we get so caught up into the rat race of, man, I got to have financial security, that we forego our passion. I got to be stable, financially stable, to where we forego what we're passionate about. And we just, man, I'm miserable. I'm in this hellhole. I hate this job. I hate going to work. I hate my boss. I hate my coworkers. I hate this cubicle. I hate everything about this. I hate sitting in traffic, get here. I hate everything about this. This is so depressing. It's so frustrating, but it pays the bills. You know what I mean? And we're dying on the inside. We're dying on the inside to who we are and why we're here. You want to comment on that?
Yeah. So when you talk about that and finding your purpose, and if you find yourself in a place where you feel stuck, you have to sit with yourself and really examine what has always come easy to you. What do you do naturally? Are you always, and I want people to, that's why I keep emphasizing, be patient with yourself. If you're in a job that you hate, try to find a way out to get to where you want to go. But while you're there, find your purpose in your job. I know someone that does maintenance in a hotel, and they encourage and inspire everybody that walks by. The people come in sad, they leave happy. He is in his purpose in that moment. And it's just and there's a quote that I love, and it's just basically be patient with yourself. I'm not gonna recite it like I did last time, but it's just be patient with all things, but chiefly be patient with yourself. And it's about set about remedying your imperfections and daily beginning the task anew. It's not about continuing in sin that grace may abound. No, it's about finding out what makes you happy and then learning the things that don't necessarily serve you anymore and slowly starting to take those away and find gratitude. If Joe was able to find the gratitude in his life, his life's perception would have been so different. If he was really able to say, I'm affecting change in these people's lives. Look how many, he never saw that. He never saw that, the reverence that the young man had for him, the grown man had for him by calling him Mr. The reverence that the students had for him that had no other purpose in life but to be under his mentorship. He was a mentor. He provided hope for them. And I think that when we're so hard on ourselves because we're not, I tried out for America's Next Top Model. I could be hard because I wanted to do journalism in some kind of way, and I was going to use that as a segue to get into that. Now I could beat myself up and say, oh, I have to come now and start to fulfill my actual purpose in this way. Or I can say, I have been inspiring people. I have people in my life that the careers that I suggested they are still doing, the people and their mates they're married to and still thriving with, because God has always put in me that discernment to see and the advocacy for mental health and healing in relationships. And so you just have to see where you are. There's a mother that I know that says she said that she wasted her life because all she's ever done was had children. All of her children are successful. All of her children are pillars of the community. All of her children give back and are philanthropists. And she thinks she's a failure because she didn't get the education that she felt she should have gotten.
That's crazy. There's a scene in the movie, you're talking about Joe, how he never really saw who he was.
Yeah.
What he was capable of. So Joe's soul was in this place in between, in the movie. And there's this one soul that's supposed to go down to earth and find and live their life. And this soul for years never wanted to go, never wanted to come to earth, didn't want to deal with the drama, didn't want to deal with the suffering, didn't want to deal with the pain, didn't want to deal with any of that stuff, right? And so, but this soul had so many other mentors. This soul had so many other people they lived and was partnered up with so many other great people. And in the movie, it talks about how that this soul was partnered up with Sigmund Freud, who was, not Sigmund, Carl Jung, who was this great psychologist. Carl Jung is my favorite psychologist of all time. Carl Jung.
I'm a youngin too.
Yes.
I'm a youngin. Yes.
And Carl Jung is like yelling at this little girl. It's like, in my head, I'm sick of you, I'm tired.
He says, my subconscious mind hates you.
And so, man, I started busting up laughing when I saw that, right? And then this girl, she's partnered up with Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa's like going off on her, and she's sick and tired of her. And so this girl has been partnered up with so many great minds. And every one of them gave up on her. Every one of them could not get this girl to come to earth to live her life and to fulfill her purpose. None of these great minds was able to do it. None of these great minds were able to inspire her.
Yes.
But this average Joe, he inspired her to make her want to live, know? And so these people are asking me, they're asking him, how did you get her to do it? And he just haphazardly, casually, like, oh, I just let her walk a mile in my shoes. And he did, but he didn't really understand what he was saying. Yeah. He didn't understand the impact that he had on this girl's life and how all these great minds, you can't get any greater than Carl Jung, than Mother Teresa, and all these other people that they mentioned. And yet this average guy, this teacher, this nobody, this average Joe, who mom looked at him as a failure because he didn't have medical insurance and the benefits and all this other stuff. He didn't have a stable job and all this other stuff, you know what I mean? And so this average guy didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have any of that stuff, you know what I mean? That people would deem you as success. Didn't have the cars, man, he didn't dress good. You know what I mean? He didn't have anything going for him. He didn't have no game. Didn't have anything going for him. You know what I mean? He didn't have
Yeah.
the muscles. He didn't have nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And so he wouldn't be what we would consider a success,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. And yet,
Yeah, yeah.
this guy,
By today's standard, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and yet
No,
this
he wouldn't
guy,
be. No, you're right.
and
Mhm.
yet he had the ability to inspire the youth. Yet he had the
Yes.
ability to encourage and challenge and motivate the youth, you
Yes.
know? And so often we minimize that and we look at that as being insignificant because we don't have the billions like or the millions, and we don't have the fame that some of these great basketball players and singers and entertainers have. And so we look at our
Right.
lives compared to them. It's like, man, I suck. My life sucks, and who am I? And like this soul, man, I don't want to live. And so many of us were scared of living our life,
Yes.
and so we stay stuck in the
Mhm.
rut, not really doing anything because we're
Yeah.
scared of success. And some of us are scared of failure. And so we don't want to do anything. We don't want to make
Yeah.
choices or decisions because,
Just stuck.
yeah, what
Yeah.
if I do succeed? What if I
Mhm.
fail? You know what I mean? And so you want to comment on that?
I just want to say, like, just do something. If what you're doing, you hate it, do something different. I remember I was working at a job that I hated. I would sit in my car and be like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go into work today. And I started to say, oh, you know what? I can use I always wanted to do journalism or psychology. And so I started to like interview the people that I spoke to and talk to them. And and I ended up doing more customer service than sales, but I was affecting change. And then I started to go to acting classes. And then it's just add little things to your life that make your life a little bit better and align you with your actual goals and purpose. And this is something that I want people to do. If you can grab a pencil and paper and grab that, because this is something that I want us to actually have something to take away and have with us and keep close to us. And on one side, write purpose. On one side, write purpose. And on the other side, I want you to write who you are. Just write your name. Just write your name. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to put Shayna. Okay. And then I want you to write what you do. And if for me, I'll do mental health advocate. And if you're a teacher, you inspire generations of children and teach them, right? Um, who do you do it for? You do it for children. Or if you're a healer, you do it for society, humanity, for the betterment of humanity, right? And how are they affected by it? How is the world better for what you give? So I provide healing and restoration. So Shayna, mental health advocate, society, provide healing and restoration. Okay, and I want you to read it back to yourself right now. Just take a moment so I can say, Shayna, I'm a mental health advocate. I do this for society, and I provide and change by providing healing and restoration for people. And so anytime you're feeling down, anytime you're feeling low, you have this thing that you can look at. My name is Zachary. I'm a chef. I heal through my food, and people have create experiences and lifelong memories from eating my food and being in my presence from what I've given. You have that with you, and no one can take it away from you. Read it every morning, read it every night, keep it in your pocketbook, take a picture of it, put it in your phone. That is your purpose. That is what you give to this world.
It's interesting because in the movie, there is this big ordeal on purpose and passion. And so many of us, we assume that what we're passionate about is what our purpose is,
Yeah,
and it may not necessarily be true.
yeah.
So often
Mhm.
our purpose is connected to our greatest pains, to the things that have hurt us the most,
Yeah.
the things that have affected us the most. And so we look at it And so often we think, man, my life sucks. I've gone through this, and that. My family sucks. I hate my life. I hate my family. I wish I was somebody else. And so we take on this persona of I want to be somebody else.
Yeah.
As opposed to looking at why we went through all the stuff that we went through. As opposed to saying, okay, there's a reason why I've gone through all of this. There's a
Yes.
purpose for all of this. Nothing just happens. I was talking to a young lady yesterday morning, and man, she was talking to me about a lot of the things that she's gone through. Just devastating, just catastrophic. Somebody that early in life has gone through all the hell that she's gone through. But she found her passion. She found it through swimming.
Wow.
Through swimming. And here it is, this young lady who went through all that she went through, all the devastating things that she endured, just started learning how to swim.
Wow.
And enjoyed it. And now she's at a school. And now she has these ideas of, man, I want to help teach other young Black women and Black kids how to swim. Man, I want to be able to provide an outlet for the streets, an outlet for all the criminal activities, an outlet, an escape from the trauma, from the pain, from the suffering, from the violence of our homes.
Yep.
And now she's able to sit there and be a mentor because of all the hell that she's gone through.
Wow.
Now she's able to be a mentor to these young girls, these young boys, that are going through similar things. That would normally go to the streets and pop pills, that would start drinking, that would start shooting up dope. These young kids that would normally want to run away. She can now talk to them and tell them, hey, I've been there. I understand your pain. I understand your trauma.
Yes.
Because I've been there. And she's able to share her story with them. It's like, hey, you don't have to run away.
Yeah.
You don't have to do dope to escape. You don't have to drink alcohol. You don't have to hang out with these group of people to escape.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it is so profound what you just said. Her passion is swimming. Her purpose is mentoring.
Yes.
And she could lose hope and lose sight and say, oh, dang, I don't get to be a mentor, and completely miss the opportunity that's right in front of you. I read somewhere that we're already right now standing in our acres of diamonds. Yes. All you have to do is see it and experience it. But I read mine. You have to read yours. I read my card. You got to read yours. I want to hear what yours says. I want to hear what your purpose is.
Okay, I'm gonna read that, but hold on. You mentioned something. I believe it's the richest man in Babylon. No, not the richest man. But there's another one. I can't think of the name of it. It's a story. You talking about standing in the sea of diamonds?
Yes.
I can't think of the pauper or something. So this guy, he has his field, and he leaves because he's in pursuit of wealth for his family, and he's losing all this money on the property that he has, and so he leaves his family, and he's traveling the world in pursuit of all this wealth. Never finds it. His family.
The Alchemist?
It's not The Alchemist.
Okay,
I love that story.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Yeah,
that's a good book too. Yeah.
But this guy, he never finds it.
Okay.
Family loses the property, loses everything. He comes back. Somebody else owns a property. And on that property, they find all of these diamonds. The same property that he left. The same property that he left his family on. And they lost it because he went pursuit, looking for something, searching
that was
for something he was already standing on, that he already owned. He just never dug for it. And so often we look at our lives and we look at who we are, who we think we are. I'm not good enough. I gotta go do this. I gotta be like these people. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. When all we have to do is, man, we have everything that we need. We
Yes.
are all that we're capable of being already.
Yes. Yeah.
We just have to tap into it and
Yeah.
understand all the things that we've gone through.
Yes.
You know, they're just to reveal to us who we really are.
Who we really are.
The-
We're the sum of all of our experiences, right? We're the
Yes,
sum of all of our traumas, our pains. But what we do with that is how we progress in life.
yes,
Do we sit and wallow in that sadness? And I'm not victim blaming, but you need to feel the full emotions, you know, cry, express how you feel. But what do you do after that?
yes,
If you're crying every day for the next 20 years over the same thing, it's time to confront that and lovingly decide a new way of thinking, a new way of being. And again, just being patient with yourself and knowing that you are all that you need. You have everything inside of you. You just have to dig, like he said, just dig a little deeper. Take time and sit with yourself, be kind and love yourself, and dig a little deeper.
yeah,
And yeah, the average Joe is not so bad, right?
yeah. You know, and it's crazy because you're talking about that, and it just reminds me of the situation that I went through with God, you know, or an ordeal that I had, you know, in my life. And I was mad at God. You know, I grew up in the church, and I remember at 6 years old, I asked God for like 5 things that I wanted, you know, because all these people are telling me, oh man, you're going to be this great man of God. You're going to be this powerful preacher and all this other stuff, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, why try and do all that? You know, I'll do that when I get old. You know what I mean? 'Cause you think when you're 6 years old, you think 30 something years old, you know, that's
Yeah.
old. You know what I mean? I'll do that when I'm old and I want to have kids and get married. But I want to live my life right now. You know what I mean? And that don't involve church. You know what I mean? And so I'm talking to God and I'm
We're
like,
freezing up. Uh-oh,
no,
you're
that's
frozen.
I'm good. You're good.
Uh-oh, you froze for a little bit.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good. And so
Uh-oh.
you good? You good?
Yeah, the internet is freezing a little bit.
It's okay. And so,
Uh-oh. What's
yeah,
happening? All right.
yeah. And so I'm just gonna keep talking. And so I was talking to God one day, and
Okay, okay. Yeah.
I said, okay, God, give me 5 things. You know, if you give me these 5 things to help me with what I believe you called me to do. You know, if you want me to preach and teach to your people, just give me these 5
Mhm.
characteristics. I want the love of David, you know, King
Right.
David. I want the wisdom of Solomon. You know, I want the faith of Job. I want the physical strength of Samson. And I want the teaching ability of Paul.
Oh, wow.
And so as a 6-year-old kid, I'm trying to make this deal with God. Just give me these 5 things. I didn't ask for wealth. I didn't ask for riches. If I knew better, man, that would have been one of the first things I would have asked for. You know what I mean? But I didn't ask for any of those things as a 6-year-old kid. And we were poor growing up.
Yeah.
Like poor. You know what I mean? And so, but I didn't ask for any of those, any wealth or any fame or any of that stuff. That didn't matter to me at the time. I just wanted these 5 characteristics. And the next week I was molested in church. You know what I mean? And so I looked at this like, man, God was like just giving me the finger. God don't even care about me. You know what I mean? And it's like, God doesn't even love me. And so I'm like so mad at God because it's like, man, God, my whole life I've heard that, man, we were stupid, we were dumb. I was going to prison for the rest of my life like my dad. I'll be dead before I'm 18. I'm going straight to hell. I got the devil in me. You know what I mean? And so I'm hearing all this growing up, right?
Oh my God.
And so, and it's like, man, God, you allowed this to happen to me, man. I must really have the devil in me, right? And so a few years ago.
I'm gonna yeah, let me hold on one second. Let me move to another. Is it still freezing or is it good?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. All right, let's go.
Yeah. And so a few
Mhm.
years ago, God was talking to me and he was like, Elijah, why are you so mad? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, you got everything that you ever asked for. And so, man, that just put me on one. That just pissed me off. You know, I was like, what the hell are you
Wow.
talking about?
Wow.
I never got what I asked for. My whole life is blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm just this victim. And God was like, Elijah, you got everything that you wanted. Why are you mad? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? He said, Elijah, you wanted the love of David. You're so loving, compassionate. You'll give your last to help somebody. You're always doing and sowing and giving to other people. Elijah, you asked for the wisdom of Solomon. Elijah, you profound people with the knowledge and the wisdom that you have. People don't understand where you got that from. Elijah, you asked for the strength of Samson. Elijah, look at all the hell you've gone through, and you're still here. You're not just here, but you're still pursuing life. You're still trying to reach and change and grow and help other people. When so many other people have committed suicide, when so many other people got strung out on dope, when so many other people are victims, you're still here. You're still putting in the work. Elijah, you asked for the faith of Job. Elijah, you're the most optimistic person. Look at you. You're always talking about, and it's all good. Everything's always working out for you. You have the epitome of faith. You're always positive. Elijah, you asked for the teaching ability of Paul. Man, you've been helping people since you're a kid. You've been teaching people. That's second nature to you. He said, Elijah, the problem is you thought I was going to just sprinkle all this stuff on you. I don't just give you that stuff. All that stuff was already within you. I allowed you to go through all those things so that all of those things can reveal that you already had those things. You don't have to go searching for knowledge and wisdom and understanding. You don't have to go searching for love. You don't have to go searching for strength and all of that. You already have those things. And so many of us in life, we want peace. We want joy. We want fulfillment. We want all these things. And we're going and we're experimenting with life and we're doing all these things, looking for the things that we already possess within inside of us. But because we've been so beat down by society, we've been so put down and told that we're stupid, we're dumb, we won't amount to anything, we're ugly, we're too dark, we're too light, we're too skinny, we're too fat. We have all these negative things and we believe all these negative thought processes to where we don't believe that we are who we really are.
So true. That's so true. And you are already standing in your acre of diamonds.
Yes. Yes.
You are.
Yes. So I'm gonna read to you the things that you asked me to write down.
Okay.
I don't want you thinking like this fool just switched the subject and he didn't even read it.
No. I know you have integrity. I know you have integrity. That's something I've learned very early on about you. So yes.
Thank you. So purpose down, and on the other side I wrote who you are. My name is Elijah. And what do? I just help people heal. Who do I do it for? I do it for everybody. And how are they affected? They heal from a lot of their trauma.
Now look at that. That's your own personal elevator speech, so that you can just and so I hope that whoever is watching actually did do the exercise or finds time to do it, because it'll just help you kind of just stop and smell the roses and see that you are already living in your purpose. Just try to find ways that your purpose is already aligning in your life, and then your passion will arise.
Yes, it's already there. It's just we're so stuck with all the negatives. It's like the sun. When the sun is blocked by the clouds or a storm, it's easy for us to assume that the sun's not out. The sun is always shining. But just because you can't feel the warmth of it, just because you can't see the light, doesn't mean that it's not out. It's just been blocked by all the storms, by the clouds. And that's the same thing in life. We can't see who our purpose is because of all the drama and the trauma and all the other craziness we've gone through. And so we have to just learn how to navigate through all of that to understand that's not really who I am. That just shows me who I really am. You know what I mean? I'm not the drama and the traumatic things I've experienced. That just shows me that I'm loving. That just shows me that I'm strong. That just shows me that I'm courageous. That just shows me that I'm a survivor. That just shows me that I'm an overcomer. That just shows me that I am intelligent. That just shows me that I'm giving and all these other things. I don't know if that makes sense, but So what else?
And so anytime those negative thoughts come up, just read your card.
Yes.
That's
So is there another aspect of the movie that you really thought was profound or exciting to you?
Just the we pretty much covered everything. The fact that Joe, I think they named him that on purpose. Just the average Joe Gardner. I mean, they could have might as well called him John Doe. You know, they wanted him to be very average, and like you said, he's average looking. He's not necessarily handsome by the world standards, but once he was able to look back at his life and look at it through a lens of gratitude, was able to see that he was always living in his purpose, and that if he was had the opportunity to see that and have a second chance at life, and we have that chance now, so that you can change the way that or do the things that you want to do in this very moment, and change the people that you want to change as you interact with them. Yeah.
You know, isn't brain fart.
It's okay.
It's significant that they named him Gardner as the last name. I love gardening. I'm so passionate about gardening. It's so therapeutic for me. And when you think about a gardener, they're always planting seeds. They're always cultivating the land. And that's exactly what he was doing for all those kids. He was planting seeds of hope, planting seeds of, you could reach and be all that you're capable of being. He was constantly planting seeds, those positive seeds in those kids, and it's like, we miss that. So many of us, we miss, I don't know if that's making sense.
No, yeah, I think that they're the people that write these movies, they're very thoughtful. They hire therapists, child psychologists to do this, and they're very, very intelligent and they don't just do things haphazardly. And so his name is very, very purposeful. Joe, the average Joe, and Gardner, someone whose name is in his name is in his purpose. His purpose is in his name. And it's not Joe musician, it's Joe Gardner. It's an average Joe that plants seeds and affects change in people's lives. And I remember it was like a 7th grade teacher that told me that, Shayna, you have such a bright personality, and I know that you're going to go places. Just apply yourself and you'll go so far. And it was that, I'd heard, positive things throughout my life, but I've also heard negative things that you won't amount. I had a teacher tell me, she told the whole 2nd grade class, you're come from a bunch of drug dealers and prostitutes, and that's what you're going to grow up to become. Yeah, I told my mom, my mom wasn't having that, but this is what she told a group of young 2nd grade students. And that, you see, and it still sticks with me to this day, but I override that with positivity. Now, what if I would have allowed that woman's words to become to become reality in my own life? I chose differently. And so whatever someone speaks over you does not define who you are. What you are, it's like someone that can do hair, and you go to her and your hair just grows. That's her purpose. She is able to heal through her hands. And I know some hairdressers, they're like, oh, I hate doing this. I hate this so much. And it's like, you're doing something that I wish I could do, that so many people wish they could do. And you are blessing people with your hands. You're giving them confidence. You provide confidence and hope for women. When you get a new hairstyle, don't you feel good? Think about that if the hairdresser that doesn't like what she's doing was able to see the way that she was affecting people's lives, the smiles that she puts on people's faces on Monday morning when they have that nice new hairstyle. Look at the way that you affect people's life in a positive way, and there you will find your purpose. Look at the way that you affect people's life in a positive way, and there you will find your purpose.
Yes. And it's amazing you bring up about the hair, because in the movie, Joe went to go get his haircut, and he's talking to this man who could have been anything else, but he chose to cut hair for that exact same reason. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because in the Bible, it talks about how that God gave these talents to these people, and 2 of them used their talents and they gained more talents. And the one person that was given 1 talent, he just took his and hid his, just buried it.
Yeah.
And the truth, and what that means is that in so many of us, every one of us, we have our own talent. We all have our own purpose, our own gift that we're supposed to share with humanity. And the great majority of us, we never really understand what our talent is. We never really understand what our purpose is, because we're so busy fixated. Look, man, I want to be like LeBron. Man, I want to be like Michael Jordan. I want to be like this person over here. And we're so attracted and we're so stuck comparing ourselves,
Mhm.
our gifts to somebody else's, to where we can't really walk in our purpose. And we minimize our gifts and our
Yes,
purpose here because we're jealous and we're envying somebody else's gifts.
yes. So when you see, when you find yourself, don't ever compare yourself to anyone else. You are a divine creation, individual, uh, a part of, the divine creation, but you are an individual in yourself. And so comparing yourself is the most counterintuitive thing that I think
Yes.
that we do. And that's why I know people delete their Instagram and their Facebook because they're just so bombarded by everyone living the good life or the best life, whatever the phrase is. And they're just so bombarded by that, that I know someone that's a doctor that's like, oh, I don't have a good life. And they're a whole doctor with, went to schools, educated, everything, but they see people, on vacation and they feel like that they're not living their full potential as they're healing people through a pandemic, keeping people alive so that they can go home to their families. Who's living their best life?
Yes.
And it's really about just seeing, don't compare yourself to people. Just throw that out. There's no, I don't even have a nice way to put it, any sugarcoating or like cute mnemonic, but no, just stop comparing yourself to other people. It just
That's so
doesn't do you any
disrespectful.
good.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
the most disrespectful thing that you could do to yourself.
Yeah, you're amazing. You are
Yeah.
amazing. You are incredible. You are perfect the way that, for God to number every hair on your head, you got to be pretty dope. Like God
Yeah.
has you, and like he knows you from what is that he knows you from your mother's womb. You're perfect. You're
Yes.
perfect the way you are. Your nose, your lips, your eyes, your skin. Your You don't have to be LeBron James. Be the best basketball player. Be the best coach, and inspire someone else. LeBron James had a coach that inspired him to be LeBron James. Maybe you're supposed to inspire people. Not everyone's supposed to. Maybe you couldn't handle that level of attention and it wouldn't work out for you.
Mhm.
So just so be accept where you are and know that comparing yourself to any other people doesn't do you any good, and just be appreciative of what you have. And like I said before, where where do you change people's life?
Yes.
If you're the delivery driver
Mhm.
and you're bringing food to someone and you just give them a little joke. I talked to an insurance person the other day that I was feeling a little down, and by the end of the conversation we were laughing like old friends. She may think, and when I was an insurance agent, I said, oh my God, my life, what am I doing? Not realizing that you're already living in your potential. Just tap into that and reach
Mhm.
out to people the way that that can inspire you, and try to find an online community that does what you do. That will be a very big inspiration for you. Find other people that are affecting change and doing what you do in a positive way. I always say activities, people, purpose, but I changed that to healthy activity,
Yes.
healthy people, defined purpose.
Yes.
It's work. It takes time. No one has it all figured out. That's why the who, what, where, why questions are still here, and they
Yes.
will be, because we're here to figure out, we're here to discover, we're here to create, and the cycle continues. And I
Yes.
think that's what that movie was about. Designing, creating, and letting the cycle continue, and finding out what's next, and living your life, not being afraid to live your life because you're waiting for your children to grow up and then I'll go back to school, or you're
Yes.
waiting for your husband to find the right job and then you'll pursue your business.
Yes. Yes.
Now,
Yes.
do it
And
now.
you and I've talked about this before. Dr. Miles Monroe talked about the greatest wealth in the world is accumulated in the graveyards because
Yeah.
because of all of the things that people didn't do for whatever reason. All the dreams and goals and books and art and cures and all the different things that should have been created, that should have been left with the world is gone onto the grave with those individuals. And it's crazy because God had to show me that we're all like a piece of a jigsaw puzzle, every single one of us. And I don't care how big you think you are, I don't care how significant you think you are, I don't care how small you think you are. If you take one piece of that puzzle and throw it away, that whole puzzle is now incomplete.
Incomplete.
And so that's just like every single one of us. Every single one of us are intricately connected with everybody else around us.
Yes.
And it takes all of us to complete the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't be another piece, but you could be the best piece that you are.
Right.
And
right.
It takes your piece to complete
Mm-hmm.
the puzzle.
Yes. Yes.
So,
mm-hmm.
Did you have anything else you want to share before we bring this segment?
To a close. I just really want everyone to be patient with themselves, and to and not to lose hope. Be patient with all things, but chiefly have patience with yourself. Do not lose hope in realizing your own imperfections, but daily set about remedying them, and daily begin the task anew. Not to continue in the same thought pattern, but be kind to yourself and do things differently. Every day, take a step in the direction that you want to see your life progress towards. Take one step, take another, and then the next step will be easier, and the next step will be easier. And if you lose hope and if you lose courage,
yes,
you have it right here.
Yes.
Put it in your heart and keep it with you.
Yes. Thank you, Shayna. Man, this is awesome. I love that movie. Man, I look forward to being able to have you on again and talking about another movie.
Yes.
And so we definitely will do that at some point.
Yeah.
Any closing words before we?
Oh, oh my God, I'm a nerd. I love quotes and I memorize things. And so this is a quote that I always keep in my mind. And it's funny that I mentioned it to you and you knew it too. It's the heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling through the night. Just keep yourself in that higher height and deeper depths, and you will get to where you want to go.
Yes. Yes. And I'm gonna share this real quick. Now they should bring that quote up, because I love that quote. I love that.
Isn't that a good one? That's a good one.
Sometimes it's gonna get frustrating.
Yeah.
The journey, the process, living, doing what you came here to do, is gonna get frustrating sometimes. When you start looking at circumstances, looking at life, whatever. But you have to push through that. You have to push through that. There's times when I started the YouTube channel, and it's like I was so frustrated because I started this channel for my kids and my grandkids, and that's the only reason why I started it, is because I wanted to be able to pass along some information for my kids and grandkids. And it's like my kids wasn't even watching the videos, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, how effing disrespectful is that? I'm doing these for y'all, you know what I mean? And they didn't even care, they didn't care. They wasn't watching them. And it's like, but I kept doing it. I kept doing it, you know what I mean? And now looking back over, it's like God knew that it was going to be bigger than just my kids and my grandkids. But that's what it took for me to get going, was my love for my kids and my grandkids. The thought that, man, at some point I'm going to die, and I want to leave the knowledge and wisdom behind with them. But God was like, no, it's deeper than that. It's bigger than that. There's other people's lives you need to affect. There's other people's lives you need to touch. And so I'm sharing that with you guys. Hey, it's going to get frustrating sometimes. You're going to be like, man, why am I doing this? Nobody cares. It's not making any difference. I'm not going anywhere. Man, you know what I mean? Just keep going.
You're a supernova, my friend. You're not a star, you're a supernova. So it wasn't just, and this is something that, believe it or not, guys, I'm an introvert. I know, right? And so I'm trying to get myself, and so I barely have a social media, like I don't really interact on social media. I hide, but so I want to start to get myself out there more. And so if you want to follow me, it's at Wellness Balanced. And then I ask you, please, Elijah, if you could put the information in the thumbnail, at Wellness Balanced on Instagram. But yeah, you couldn't only have it for your family. You got, I don't know what I saw. When I saw the interaction between us, I said, man, this guy is going to be huge. Let me hitch my tail to this wagon before we get 100 you're like, you're like, you don't even look at your comments anymore because you're so busy because you're on talk shows all over the world. I'm like, he reached out. So I'm not gonna let this thing pass. I'm gonna jump on it so yeah, you've got some lives to change internationally. Definitely.
That being said, thank you. That being said, it's interesting you bring that up because I look at where we're at now compared to where I was at 2 years ago when I started the channel. I didn't have any idea that it would be where it's at now. And I believe that it'd be bigger than where it's at now. But I had no idea that it'd be where it's at now. I didn't have any idea that when you and I first connected that we'll be working together on a magazine, putting out a magazine that's helping people share their stories, helping people share their artwork. I got a comment the other day, this guy sent me some information, and he was so excited about we had used some of his poems and so some of his drawings in the magazine. Yes. And he was so excited. He had it all plastered all over social media. And his mom and his family was commenting on it and, telling him, man, congratulations. They're so excited that he got this stuff out. Yeah. And it's just that, knowing that, man, we never met this guy, but just the platform that we created is allowing him and other people to get their stuff out. And their families are so proud of them. Their families like, man, hyping them up now because of the recognition that he's got. And it's like, man, that's what life is about. That's what it's all about. It's not always about, look at me. It's not about that at all. It's how can we help others? How can we be a positive impact in the lives of other people?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you for all that you do for humanity.
Thanks to you.
And so, thank you, family. I love you guys. Happy healing.
Until next time.
Hey, family. We're going to change the world, one person, one heart, and one mind at a time. We have to be the bridge that takes people from their darkness, their pain, their trauma, and ignorance to a place of peace, love, joy, and gratitude. Check out my website, ElijahAmmi.com. I love you guys. Happy healing.